resume still matters? Like, because I'm competing with 3,000 people, right? Should I even apply?
Yeah, it matters. Like the quality of the resume matters.
If I'm a data scientist, how can I find my unique value?
I think everyone is unique, right? Everyone by definition is unique. And because we conform to the best practices or just how we think other people think, we became more generic.
What do you think are the most important skills to have in this age of AI?
Build, sell, lucky.
Build, sell, lucky. Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned the skill of getting lucky or helping others to get lucky. How do you do that?
Naval, I think, categorized that into 4 different kind of luck.
Hi, Yuzheng. Yeah, nice catching up
Hello,
with you.
Angelina.
Yeah.
Yeah, likewise.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. So thanks for coming to my podcast today. I want to have a discussion with you, especially around the job market and where roles with related to data science and engineers are going, especially in this age of AI, right? Everybody, I know that I have a lot of friends who are looking for jobs and they're having a hard time. And, there are layoffs in big companies and also, freezing of hiring of a lot of the roles. So even after we pass the new year, right? This is Q1 2025. I'm not seeing like it's more opening up, like as expected.
Not right? This is just
opening
start.
up. Yeah, so this is really scary. So I don't want to put FOMO at the beginning of the podcast. So I want to ask you several questions around this topic.
Of course. And I think you got to the right person, right? Because I have the YouTube channel, I have the community, and I work at a startup. So I'm connected with a lot of data scientists. I hear similar horror stories as you do, but I also see success cases in our community. Like if you check the community post, there is someone who finally landed a job after half a year of searching. So I see some success case, and my company is actually doubling headcount. And each position we post, we get over 3,000 applicants. So I can speak to that as well.
That's unprecedented, right? It's like 5 years ago, you're not getting 3,000 applicants, or even 3 years ago.
Even a year ago, I think a year ago when we post, it was still already a tough job market. But I think we got several hundred applicants. I think AI changed the job market, and LinkedIn has changed. If we want interested in the details, we can do that as well. But I also did an interview with the hiring manager at Databricks, and he offered the opinion that because everyone today is applying to everything, so the signal, the precision and recall just drastically changed. That's why the traditional method of applying for a job doesn't work anymore, because there is just no signal from this process.
Right. Maybe later for this, during this talk, you can share a little bit what should we do right now. So my first question is where do you see data science or engineer roles heading in the next 1 to 2 years? Are companies shifting focuses from this traditional data science or software engineer to a more AI specific roles, or are they merging these skill sets? Can you share your observation? Yeah.
Of course. I think I hear this people complaining, they are data analytics and they try to switch jobs. And every position they can find, the company asks for large language model related experiences. Even if for analytics, if you don't have such experiences, it's hard to even find an opening. I think that reflects how the industry is going, right? The industry is going to AI. The money, the B2B spending, the company budgets are going to AI. And if you look at new startups, the most successful ones like Lovable, Cursor, they're going to AI. And big tech, all the new initiatives or all the visibility goes to AI. So I think that reflects kind of the market trend, or just where the money goes, where the value is going to be created, or at least where the demand is. But meanwhile, I don't like the framing of the question. The framing of the question is typically how would data scientists, how does the role of data scientists change? How should data scientists adapt to the new, right? But let me actually ask you, what is the definition of data science? What is data scientist?
So traditionally, I would think that data scientists are doing like, data, including, should we include data engineer? I'm considering the whole data pipeline of traditional, the data function that you include, ETL of the data, and then transformation of the data into some like analysis ready, model ready data set. And then you either do analytics on, or you either do like models on, and then for some predictive models and things like that, right? And after we have like machine learning engineers rose like a few years ago, right? The rise of machine learning engineers, then ML ops becomes also important to, becoming part of this whole pipeline, right? From pulling the data all the way to like you're gonna have operation side, like DevOps kind of thing, roles for MLEs. So data science roles have been like enriched over time, right? For all those functions. But now I think it's adding new flavor, like the AI flavor to it. I just don't know
Yeah.
how severe it is.
I became like I definitely like I think 4 years ago I was trying to introduce like what are the different type of data roles at Amazon. Like they have I think 10 different titles. Like I was using this approach to describe the role of data scientist. Now I became kind of critical of this kind of definition because it's fake. I think it's fake. If you think about the origin of data science, it's definitely a made up position. Like I think the history of the role is like 20 years at most.
It's statisticians, right? I'm a statistics major, right? So, yep.
Yeah, like a statistician, like even that, like but data scientist, the term doesn't exist 20 years ago. So it's a made up
That's
role. And like for example, when you talk, for example, just a builder, right? Just a construction worker out there. Like if you ask a construction worker, what do? They say, we build houses. They don't say like I use hammer or I use a saw, right? They don't talk about the tools. They talk about the results. So what is the result of data scientist? The result of data scientist, unless you work on production system, you just influence people. You just help make better decisions. That's all.
Mm.
Right.
Informed
And
decision is a common word in job descriptions.
yeah, the entire
Yeah.
value of data science is without the data scientist, this company does a worse decision. With the data scientist, the company does a better decision. Then the delta of these two decisions is kind of the value of data scientist. So
Good point.
with that, like I don't care, like am I using SQL, am I using Python, am I using large language models? Because today, most of my SQL and Python are written by large language models. So why should I care about which tool do I use? I just care about what kind of decisions am I actually influencing? Can I actually help make even better decisions? Can I work on more important decisions? Can I influence more people? That I think that speaks more directly to the value.
So it's more like performance driven now. So people are focusing more on ROIs. Historically, it's very hard to judge the ROI for a data team or data science team.
I think that was a luxury, and that
hard to-
might be because of empire building, right? Because at big companies, everyone wants to hire more people to get promoted, and you want to be quantitative and you want to play it safe. The best way to play it safe is to let numbers speak. You don't hold any responsibility of making a decision. You just let numbers make a decision for you. You hire data scientists to justify or whatever.
Right.
Then you don't have to actually justify the value of this data scientist.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But today it seems like it's changing, right?
I think
You mentioned
because
about
companies are disrupted, like especially like those profitable big tech companies, they feel a sense of urgency that wasn't there like 3 years ago because of GenAI, because of the macroeconomics environment, because like history is like, yeah, like they are going to have earn so much money. They have such a growing, hyper growth business model. They have all the free cash flow, and then they can afford to hire a lot of people. And to hire a lot of people with the dream of this, like hiring more people leads to more growth. Maybe at some domain it's true, but for example, you like look at Google or Meta, like the more people they put on a problem, the slower the progress. So more people is not going to lead to more productivity in the long run. They need to do some mean reversion. They need to adjust.
Well, why do you think the big techs are not hiring now? What's the real root cause?
Because of the pendulum, I think. Because they were empire building. Because it's just a cycle, right? Like before they were over hiring. Like it's not like they are slowing down, but this is they don't need that many people. Like if you cut 50% from Google, from Facebook, I think they'll function even better.
They're not going
So
to
they
die.
don't need, yeah, they're going to
Right.
work function. Suppose there is no moral hit, right?
Right. So do you think that there's a possibility that, well, as you said, they're going to come back potentially. So for what reason they could come back in hiring again, like the big companies or the whole industry?
I think the whole industry can hire more, but not the big tech. The big tech, unless they reinvent themselves, they're just gonna, like, they reach to maturity. Like they're gonna stay there for decades, but I don't think they're gonna grow. Like if they're not gonna grow, then they're not gonna hire like aggressively. So like it's gonna be new companies that hire a lot of people. But if you look at OpenAI, if you look at
Okay.
Anthropic, they are like expanding aggressively, right?
Okay. So let's not put our hope towards the traditional like big tech companies. Maybe because of AI, right? There's a lot of rising stars in all those new companies that potentially the traditional data scientists or engineers could actually go after today, right? What do you think like the new grads, or just in case like people get laid off from big tech, what can they do? Like if they were like data scientist roles, right, or software engineer roles, where can they go? Like for the newer companies?
If they're used to the old way of looking for a job, which means like you summarize what you did, right, and then you find a template and like try to improve your resume. Once you have like a polished resume, you go for the numbers. You apply for other jobs that are available on the market. You spend 10 seconds per job, per application, or 30 seconds per application. It's not going to work because every position is going to receive like hundreds, thousands of applicants, and their resume all look the same. Everybody is going to have the same generic resume that says, I drive this much impact with this model, or whatever. So you're not going to stand out. And my advice is, I think there are two folds. One, look for quality instead of quantity in today's day and age. So
What does that mean?
the step is reverse. You have to look for the position you want to go to first. Like building any product, right? You want to look for the market. You like finding the product market fit is not like I just build in a vacuum and try to find a market. The first step is I need to understand the market. In the first process I described, they spend like 0 hours understanding the market. So I actually need to understand which companies are hiring, what I'm good at, which positions I want to apply. Is it realistic? And then schedule like connections, coffee chat, use your own connection or whatever. Like try to understand as much as possible. Get the inside information, do research, watch episode, watch YouTube, listen to a podcast, listen to whatever. Like just learn these roles and to learn their specific requirements. What kind of people do they need? And then try to organize your past projects, experiences towards this requirement. And if there is a gap, go fill the gap. Like if they need a specific domain knowledge, try to learn that specific domain knowledge. If they need, like, for example, certain skills, learn that skill and put on a resume, right? Ideally, you want to learn the skill while building in public. So you have a track record that the interviewer can just check and understand your quality. I think once you do that, your success rate is 1,000-fold. And I'm not kidding, because most of the resumes received today we just throw out without even taking a look because they're too generic. Clearly, like that candidate used AI to apply and never look at our job code or job description. So even if you just spend like 5 minutes to look at the job description and write a tailored resume, the chance of success increase 50-fold to 100-fold. So like, and then if you do like bridge the gap and like talk to the insiders, I think it's very easy to get another like 10-fold of success rate. So it's much like, I think the time spent on understanding the market and developing the proper skills, not playing the numbers game, but be very specific on what you want to apply, can pay well. Meanwhile, to do get the job, it's the kind of job you want to go to, right? Like the first approach, the problem is you're probably gonna end up in a bad job because that's kind of the worst job that can match with you, and then you probably not gonna be happy there because you know nothing about the job going. That's the only job you can get to. You'll be miserable. But to the second approach, the job you get into, like you understand, you'll be happier.
How many resumes are you receiving now for your roles at Statsig?
Like I'm not a hiring manager, but 3,000 per role.
Per role, 3,000 per role.
Yeah.
How do hiring managers are sifting through that resume to find the high quality ones?
We use high precision filters. Like for example, first, are you local? Because we are on-site company, you have to come 5 days per week. Or did you like that screens out a lot of candidates? And do you have the relative, like we have criteria like do you have the relevant experience? If not, then that screens out a lot of candidates. And then we look at, for example, your application, like did you actually read our job description? If not, yeah. So in the end, like only less than 100 applicants can actually,
Qualify.
we need to take a serious look. Like for the 100 applicants, then we spend 2 to 5 days per applicant to actually read their resume.
Oh, okay. So is this an internal tool that you're using? Because it sounds different, like the filtering system.
I don't know. I think from the way it was described, I feel like it's an internal, just a screen. Then maybe they use some too. Maybe they use internal too. I don't think it matters that much.
Okay, I see. Because I was wondering if I want to ask you, does the resume still matters? Like, because I'm competing with 3,000 people, right? Should I
Yeah, it
even
matters.
apply?
Oh yeah, it matters. Like the quality of the resume matters. Like, you don't want a resume that is the same. Let me like the analogy is like online dating app, right? Like
Hmm.
all the online dating app, like most of the people actually look the same, but there are like 1% of the people that actually are very popular. You want to be that 1% of people by actually learn how to make a good resume. Like it's very easy to spot a good resume. The good resume can stand out in 100 or 1,000 resumes. There are not that many, especially a resume that speaks to our industry, speaks to our company.
What are other ways to become the popular 1%, other than polishing your resume, do the homework and stuff like that, and find your own interest?
So non-polish our resume. So first understand the market, then build our project, and then update our resume accordingly. So the step is not first polish our resume. Polish resume
Right.
is the
All right.
last. But the other thing is like do some AI projects, because since everybody's interested in AI, of course, if you can be an expert in this field, you have a big advantage. And the good thing is everyone kind of start at the same time, right? There's no people with 10 years of large language model experiences. Most people
Good.
have about 2 years when they put on the resume. And you can easily prove that you actually understand large language models by building some projects and posting on GitHub. Like, did you actually build a project? Did you actually overcome a lot of challenges? Did you actually have some unique insights? Or do you have a GitHub that has commits every day? Did you actually make a working product? Like those are some low-hanging fruits that I don't see many people are doing.
Is this something I should put on my resume, and besides polishing the resume itself?
Of course. But I mean, depends. If the company you are looking for do not care about AI, well, then no. But
Then
if
not.
company you care about, if the company cares about AI, and if you developed a credible project, when I say credible project, I'm not saying like class project. Don't do class projects. Just go to YC company. This is advice that I've heard. Go to the latest YC batch, right, and look at what they do. Most of their ideas, you can do it by yourself. Then try to just do that.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, and then, I mean, yeah, there are so many legit
Very.
legit projects. So don't work on fake projects. The class projects
Right.
are projects.
I'm just wondering at what point I can showcase, like, as let's say you're the hiring manager, I'm trying to apply a job on your team, and let's say I've had industry experience, I have my work experience, and I'm doing some side projects on the side. I put both on my resume. Which one would pick your interest?
We are A/B testing platform. So for if I'm giving advice for someone who are applying to our company, your side project better to be about A/B testing.
A/B
If you can
Right.
successfully apply AI in A/B testing in like a useful way, right? That certainly would get a lot of attention.
Mm, that's a good point. So again, this market research is important. Like, are you really interested in what you're applying to? There's a time needed, right, for doing that research and building up your project. So what's your suggestion for people who are out of job right now? So they could spend like 3 months doing that research, basically find like employee market fit kind of thing for
Employee
new
market
grad.
fit. Yeah, like applicant and market fit. I think regardless, they are spending a lot of time, right? You're talking about the people who are going to receive this advice, other people who are going to spend a year looking for a job but cannot find one. So they have the time. It's not like they need to, the alternative is they can get a job in a day. So they have the time. I'm just suggesting how to prioritize and how to allocate your time. The allocation should be spent at least 50% understanding the market, right? And then spend the rest, like 30, at least 30+% on developing projects, enhancing a resume, and then 10% on polishing a resume and 10% on application. The reverse, like most people do it by like spending 30% on polishing the resume, but there is nothing to polish. You just change the word that doesn't mean anything. Then the quality of your resume is not going to get any better or meaningfully better. And then you spend 90% of the time just hit
Applying.
apply.
Right.
It's just a waste of time
And
because you're
yeah, I don't know.
becoming more valuable in this process, right?
Right. I can imagine that somebody can build something like this, like, keep hitting on applying, and then you can just compare your resume with the job description and try to see if you can adapt automatically, and then you can see, right? Then somebody can actually build something like to automate a little bit of that, because applying can be very time consuming as well.
Well, there are so many like AI tools, like
Already,
yeah. I don't like that automation because
you know, like you can hallucinate. So for sure.
no, it's like, because everyone else is doing the same thing. So you are making yourself just the same as everyone else. And
Mm.
in a competitive market, you are not going to get picked by doing the same thing.
That's I feel like it's almost the same thing as if you're building a product, you're looking for how to differentiate yourself, right?
Yeah.
If I'm a data scientist, how can I find my unique value?
I think everyone is unique, right? Everyone by definition is unique. And because we conform to the kind of best practices or just how we think other people think, we became more generic. We start
Right.
off very unique and we became generic. Like your passion, your own projects, how you go to market with your product, how you build a
Mm.
personal brand, like how you choose to handle like decisions, they are all different. So I think intrinsically we're different,
Right.
but
Right.
we all try to make our resume look the same, which is
Right. Yeah, which is bad. Unfortunately. Yeah, we're like cookie cutter, but we were trained and told to do that. Like, you have to have your resume that look like that.
who
I get
said
it.
that? Like it's bad coach.
It's a bad culture, right?
That's a
Yeah.
bad advice.
Right. That's what I heard, like from like when I was in grad school, and then the student counselor, like, you have to write your resume 1 page and it has to look like this. You know what I mean?
I think format. So I think there are two like those advice. I'm not against. So first, you
Mm.
want to follow a certain format. I certainly would advise like just do 1 page, right? Don't write 5-page resumes and
Okay.
follow certain formats. I think formats makes the architect. There are going to be a best way to format things. You should use the best way. Don't try to do too much invention here. It's the substance that matters. The substance should be different. The projects you work on, like your experiences, your passion, like how you describe yourself, that should be different. But the format, I think, should be the same. And the second, remember the advice changed because of the market environment. Even 3 years ago, there is there is much more demand than supply. And today there are much more supply than demand, or maybe it's a balanced market, maybe it's much more supply. So the past experience, like the device that works 3 years ago doesn't apply today.
That's true. Do you see titles change?
I don't really care about titles. Like
Title
right,
defines those. Yeah.
the titles are made up. So says this. So there are 3 skills that are real: build, sell, and get lucky. So like, are you building? Are you selling? Are you trying to get lucky or helping others to get lucky? Yeah. But whether you are data scientist, oh, and there are three types of kind of talents: entrepreneur, technician, and manager. So the 3x3 matrix gives you kind of where you map, and then you have some expertise, right? Yes, you can develop expertise, but I don't want to limit our thinking in job roles because like we are chasing a vanity target.
Right. Maybe I'm still in the old mindset of if I'm like applying for jobs, right? The way I do which roles I apply is by searching for the title, right? Once I have the title, then I can search, okay, 100 jobs opening. And then I can click on each one of them and hit apply. So,
Yeah,
because
that is language. Oh, the language is important. I think what you do is valid, right? Like you should apply to kind of a certain definition of the job that resonates the most with you or aligns the most with you. But know that the language is fake.
language is just yeah, yeah.
It's just
Okay.
language.
I don't know how to describe it. Yeah. How you mentioned the skill of getting lucky or helping others to get lucky. How do you do that?
Oh, glad you
What
asked
kind of
that.
skill?
Naval, I think, categorized that into four different kind of luck. Only blind luck, that is something you cannot control, right? You just got lucky. The second one, I think, is luck by like developing better judgment. So when there's an opportunity, you can see the opportunity, others cannot see that opportunity. So that's you being more lucky. And the third one, I think, is luck by trying. Like, for example, if you are going out fishing every day, you're going to get more fish. If you cast the net, you're going to get more fish. So by being more diligent, you get more lucky. And the fourth one, I think, is attracting, like the luck by attraction or whatever. Or basically, suppose you are the what I think his example was, suppose you are the world expert in diving into like a sink ship to find treasures, and then someone discovered a sink ship, they're going to call you. Like you just sit at home and opportunities come to you. You develop this reputation, and yeah, other people will come to you. So
The,
the first kind of lucky, the blind luck cannot be developed, but the rest three you can actually get better.
the last one is really interesting. Basically, you're talking about inbound. So can
Yeah,
we, as a people who are seeking for job opportunities, get
of
inbounds,
course.
right? I'm sure
Like
you get inbound, right? Yeah.
all the time.
Yes, all the time, right? So
Like
how can you make yourself exposed and get more inbounds?
suppose you develop interesting projects, you actually study how to make it better. You publish a GitHub, and the GitHub people found it useful, and you get a lot of stars. When your GitHub get a lot of stars, you get opportunities. And or suppose you publish your building process and share your insights. And suppose your posts are actually insightful and help others, you get more opportunities. Or okay, by through the process, you develop certain skills, you develop certain, you find a new way of solving things. You can tell others, you can help others because you can actually solve the problem. You get more opportunities.
Right. And you have to showcase that you have the ability to solve the
Oh, of
problem
course.
to the world. So not just to your employer, but to the whole wild world, right? That's different. Like you being a YouTuber, right? You're telling everybody you're changing, you're teaching all these mindset shifting things. So, right?
The reason we thought we don't need to tell the world is because we were used to getting exams. Like in exams, you don't need to broadcast. Everyone gets the same exam, and everyone is judged by the right answer. And other things are more valuable. But in reality, nobody is going to give you an exam and hold the standards, make it fair for everyone. You have to be the one to showcase your work and broadcast for yourself. Otherwise,
Right.
who'd know? Like, how do you know anyone working at a company that is doing amazing things? No, unless they actually
No,
tell you.
right. That's a huge mind shift too, as well, especially for like the technical maybe population. The
I
probability
think,
of being a little bit more introverted is higher.
yeah, not introverted. Technical people are trained because of the quantitative school, and the
Mm.
in quantitative school, we kind of look down upon the people who broadcast themselves
So
because
who brag about themselves.
Yeah,
Right.
right. You don't have to because I'm the best at doing this exam. My score shows that I'm the best. No, I don't have to do that. But that's just a mess up system. It teach you all the
Right.
wrong things.
Right. Right. What do you think? What do you think are the most important skills to have in this age of AI as a let's say trained machine learning or data scientist or software engineer?
Build
What should we
cell.
think? What's the
It-
main shift? Say that again.
Build,
Build, sell,
build cell lucky. Pick one
build,
that
sell, lucky. Okay.
yeah. Like you're not gonna do all three well, but pick one that actually you can do well.
What percentage do you think is, let's say with allocate a percentage to these three skill sets? Are these 30, 30, 30? You think the importance? Or if you can do one of them like 100% really well, that's good enough.
You remember I'm doing the Maven course with Yan, right? With Yago.
Right.
He is
Right.
definitely the builder. I'm definitely the seller. And I think without me, like if he do the Maven course by himself, he'll have all the amazing material, but 1/10 at most the revenue. If I'm doing it myself without his material, maybe 1/10 myself. So combined builder plus seller gives us 10x return, more than 10x the return, I think. So
That's a great example.
yeah, each of us are like necessary conditions, but together, yeah.
Speaking of your Maven course offerings, because I know that you're one of the most popular AI, teachers on Maven, and you have really well received the courses, and I think you're having multiple courses now. You want to share with our audience at TwoSet AI, because our audience are data scientists, engineers, and developers, builders. Yeah, we want to have this mind shift of especially learn a little bit about sales and learn to get our own luck.
Oh, nice, nice. Glad you mentioned mindset shift. So there are two things we teach in this course. First, just how to use AI, and behind how to use AI, we through the applications we teach the mindset of how you should work with AI. For example, you should actually act as the manager of AI. You should understand how it works, but you should try to make AI as automatic as possible and try to get out of the way. And don't overlearn things. Like there are a few best practices and mindset we teach. And I think our students found this particularly useful because even students that we taught a year ago, they can still keep up with the latest development. Of course, we have this community and we share the latest community development. And we also keep updating our course, and all the past students have access to our future course. But still, because they have the mindset, they can always catch up. Versus if you learn certain tricks, like for example, if you learn long chain, then what's the use of
Right.
that? Tomorrow is gonna get obsolete. So the mindset is important. But even beyond that, because AI is a paradigm shift, and in any paradigm shift, it's very important to understand what the paradigm shift is and how to deal with the paradigm shift. The way to deal with paradigm shift is building. So we teach the builder's mindset. That's kind of the overarching theme of our course. The proposition is, unless you are building, otherwise in this new dynamic, fast changing technology, if you just learn, first there's so much noise and there's so much information overload and there's so much cognitive burden. Like you have to unlearn to learn the new thing. It's just impossible. But by building, you quickly develop first a sense and a judgment and kind of a feedback loop. Because, for example, the GitHub project, suppose you are working on a GitHub project, that propels you to learn. Because by learning, you can make your projects better and you get more stars, more opportunities, more returns. And that propels you to learn even more.
So if I were to ask you to use one sentence to summarize the core idea of your course, how to keep updated in this fast-paced world today.
The builder's mindset, building.
So basically building.
Yeah, building with AI.
And there's no need to chase the latest AI or hype.
We are chasing it for you. So we distill the information for our students. Then you can stay focused on building. And whenever you have questions, like for example, is this new model better? I'll give you an answer. We have a community and we constantly share so we help you distill the information.
Awesome. So this sounds like a really great community to be part of as well. And for the benefit of our audience, we'll share the link of Yuzheng's course and also the community. And then if you have discount code, share with us
Oh,
as
yes.
well.
Happy to provide a unique discount for your audience.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much. I don't have more questions. Thank you so much, Yuzheng. I really appreciate you sharing your very, unique perspective. I think you're one of the most unique perspectives in the space of AI in terms of having the background of both data scientist, machine learning engineer, and in data and in A/B testing as well. I feel like you are one of the person who has jumped out of the box. So few people have done that, and you're one of them. And that's why I want to share your perspectives with our audience as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.